The rules were still there, pinned to the desk. Same paper, same handwriting. At least, that's what it looked like. This was my third night. 3 shifts, 3 chances to walk away, and for some reason, I hadn't. The first night, the rules warned me. The second night, the rules changed. So when I stepped back into the building, for the third night, I expected fear. I expected silence. I expected something to feel wrong. But nothing did. The lights were steady. No flickering. The hallway was clear. No fog, no shadows, no movement. The air felt normal, comforting, and that's what scared me the most. I stood behind the desk and looked around. Everything was exactly how it should be. Too perfect. The clipboard was waiting for me, right where it always was. I picked it up. The rules looked clean, simple, familiar. Rule 1. Stay at the desk. Rule 2. Ignore voices after midnight. Rule 3. Do not follow the lights. No warnings written in red, no strange wording, no new rules added at the bottom. I felt my shoulders relax. For the first time, since I took this job, I felt safe. That was my mistake. Because the rules weren't broken. They weren't wrong. They were calm, reassuring, almost friendly. I checked the clock. 11:58 p.m. 2 minutes before midnight. The quiet felt heavier now. Not empty. Expectant. Like something was waiting to hurry up for the clock to change. I sat down, rested my hands on the desk, took a slow breath, and told myself this night would be different. That's when I noticed it. Something small. Something easy to miss. At the very bottom of the page, written in lighter ink, almost faded, was a single line. Not numbered, not highlighted. Just there. Rules may not apply to everyone. I stared at it, read it again, and again. I laughed quietly. Told myself it was a joke, a leftover note, something meaningless. But my chest felt tight. Because deep down, I already knew. Tonight, the rules weren't going to protect me. They weren't going to change. They were going to watch. And whatever was watching me was waiting to see what I would trust. Midnight arrived without warning. No sound. No change in the lights. No shift in the air. The clock simply clicked forward. 12:00. Nothing happened. I waited. The rules said to ignore voices after midnight. So when I heard one, I told myself it didn't count. It wasn't loud. It wasn't close. It sounded distant, calm, almost polite, like someone speaking from another room. I didn't turn my head. I didn't respond. I followed the rule. The voice stopped, and for a moment, I felt proud, like I had passed some kind of test. That's when the lights changed. Not all of them, just the ones near the desk. They dimmed slightly. Enough to notice. Enough to make me look up. The hallway lights stayed bright, clear, inviting. I remembered the rule. Do not follow the lights. So I stayed still. The lights didn't turn off. They didn't flicker. They waited. Minutes passed. Too many minutes. Then the clipboard slid. Just a few centimeters. Across the desk. No sound. No push. It just moved. I froze. My eyes dropped to the paper. The rules were the same. Same wording. Same handwriting. Except for one thing. Rule 2 looked different. The ink was darker, sharper, as if it had been traced over. It now read, "Ignore unfamiliar voices after midnight." I swallowed. That wasn't what it said before. Before, it said, "Ignore all voices." Now, it was specific. Unfamiliar. The voice returned. This time closer. And it said my name. Slowly. Carefully. Like it had practiced. I didn't respond. But my heart started racing. Because the rule had changed. And suddenly, the voice didn't feel unfamiliar anymore. The lights in the hallway brightened. Just a little. Like they were reacting. Responding. Adjusting. I stayed at the desk. I followed the rule. Exactly as it was written. And that's when I realized the truth. The rules weren't lying randomly. They were adapting. Changing just enough to make obedience dangerous. And whatever was controlling them was watching to see which version I would believe. Something changed after that. Not suddenly. Not loudly. But enough that I could feel it. The building didn't look different. It felt different. The air was heavier, thicker, like it resisted every breath. I stayed behind the desk. The rules said to stay. So I stayed. But the hallway didn't agree. The lights down the corridor shifted. Not brighter, not darker, just closer, as if the distance between them had shortened. I blinked. Looked again. The hallway was longer than before. Then shorter. Then exactly the same. My eyes started to ache. I checked the clipboard. The rules were still there. Unchanged. Perfectly written. Calm. Confident. Like they knew something I didn't. That's when the sound started. Footsteps. Slow. Careful. Not coming toward me. Not moving away. Just pacing. Somewhere I couldn't see. I remembered the rule. Ignore voices after midnight. It didn't say anything about footsteps. So I listened. Each step sounded deliberate, measured. As if whoever was walking was learning the space, mapping it, learning where I was. The desk lamp flickered once, then steadied. The rest of the building remained unchanged, too controlled, too intentional. I checked the clock again. 12:46 a.m. Time was moving, but it felt slower, stretched. Like the night was being pulled thin. The footsteps stopped. Right when I noticed something else. My reflection. In the dark screen of the monitor. It lagged. Just slightly. When I moved my hand, the reflection followed a second later. I froze. So did it. We stared at each other. Then, the reflection smiled. I didn't. I looked back at the rules. My heart pounded now. Still calm. Still reassuring. Still pretending nothing was wrong. That's when I understood. The rules weren't lying directly. They were incomplete. They told you what to do, but never told you what was already happening. The building wasn't reacting to my actions anymore. It was adjusting around me, rearranging itself, testing how much I would notice, and how long I would pretend everything was normal. The footsteps returned, closer now, Not louder, just closer. I stayed at the desk. I followed the rules. But for the first time, I realized something terrifying. Following the rules wasn't keeping me safe. It was keeping me exactly where whatever was watching me wanted me to be. The rules changed again. Not on the paper. Not in ink. But in the way they felt. I didn't see them move. I didn't hear anything rewrite itself. But suddenly, following the rules felt wrong. The desk felt smaller, closer, like it was pressing into my ribs. The chair behind me was warm, as if someone had just stood up. I checked the clipboard. The rules were calm, unchanged, still telling me to stay, still telling me to ignore. Still telling me not to follow the lights. But the building disagreed. The hallway lights dimmed. Not all at once. Just enough to make the desk the brightest place in the room. I felt exposed, seen, chosen. Then the voice spoke again. Not from the hallway. Not from behind the door. From the desk. From right in front of me. Low. Steady. Familiar. It didn't tell me to leave. It didn't threaten me. It thanked me. For following the rules. My stomach turned. Because gratitude wasn't part of the rules. The clipboard slid toward me again. This time, I didn't flinch. At the bottom of the page, a new line had appeared. Darker ink. Clearer handwriting. Final. Stay until replaced. I read it twice. 3 times. My mouth went dry. Replaced by what? Or by who? The lights behind the desk turned off. One by one. Leaving only the lamp. The hallway lights came back on. Brighter than before. Inviting. Breaking the rule on purpose. I stood up. The chair didn't move. Didn't scrape. Didn't make a sound. The rules didn't stop me. The building didn't react. It waited. And in that moment, I finally understood. The rules were never meant to protect me. They were meant to prepare me. To see how long I would obey. How long I would stay. How easily I could be replaced. I took one step away from the desk. The lights flickered. The voice stopped. And for the first time, all night, the rules said nothing at all.